Hello everyone, I'm student meteorologist Jeremy Breen here with your forecast for the Deep South. We have some severe thunderstorms expected in the coming days. It's at least a few days away, but I want to give you an overview of the situation. What I'll be talking about today is where we're going to see this severe weather. I'm just going to use the SPC's convective outlook. We're going to forecast the parameters, which is instability, morning capping, moisture, PM lift, and shear, not in that order. And I'll give you a few tips in preparation, such as the disaster kit and your shelter. Folks, here are the Storm Prediction Center's convective outlooks. Day 3 is Monday into Tuesday. Day 4 and 5 are Tuesday into Wednesday and Wednesday into Thursday, respectively. The threat will continue into Friday, maybe towards Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, but right now, as it's still a little bit uncertain, we're still about a week out from that, so we'll hold off on that. I'll talk about it a little bit in a moment. Last week, timing was a problem. We knew it would be bad. We didn't know exactly how bad. More on that in a moment. More importantly, we didn't know exactly when certain places would get hit. We knew it was coming. We couldn't time it. But now there's agreement amongst the models. This image here is the trough over the west United States, and here is the trough over the east United States towards the end of the week. Let's start with the instability here as we get into the actual severe weather parameters. Cape looks pretty good. Anything over around or over 1,000 is pretty good as far as thunderstorms are concerned. And you get a thunderstorm, if it has a lot more going for it than just Cape, it's definitely severe. Cape looks wonderful, especially in central Oklahoma and southwestern Kansas, even into parts of Texas. And on Tuesday, it's a little less, according to the GFS model here, but still plentiful, and a little even less on Wednesday in the southeast. But enough Cape in the central lower Mississippi River Valley to get in the Tennessee Valley to get some thunderstorms going. Moisture is a key parameter when forecasting severe thunderstorms, especially when distinguishing between hail and tornadoes, or merely hail. And there's plenty of moisture on Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday in the areas that are likely to see the severe weather. Anything above a dew point above 60 degrees Fahrenheit is a key feature. This moisture is coming from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's being brought in by what we call the low-level jet. These charts are this is a 925 millibar forecast chart, which is 2,500 feet above sea level, and you can see how expansive these jets are. Pretty wide area and pretty strong too. Gets into about 60 knots or about 50 miles per hour. Shear is the biggest factor in the severe weather potential on next week. There's a more technical reason for that, but I'm not going to go into that. First, anything less than 25 knots, of 20 to 25 knots of surface to 6 kilometer shear, which is basically what's shown on the map, will typically won't allow discrete cells to form, i.e. isolated thunderstorms. It might produce squall lines and clusters of severe thunderstorms. 20 to 35, maybe 40 knots, you get into the potential for discrete cells, but still it's basically a 50-50 shot. That's what we have on Monday and on Wednesday. But on Tuesday we have at least 35 to 60 knots of shear in the low to mid levels, and that will allow discrete thunderstorms to form. And when I say discrete cells, that really indicates supercells. Shear isolates the downdraft from the updraft that would allow a thunderstorm to become long-lived. There's another way of looking at shear besides surface to 6 kilometer bulk shear. We can look at hodographs. Hodographs are basically the horizontal wind plotted at different altitudes to see what a thunderstorm will encounter as the moisture ascends, as the moist parcels ascend. On Monday in Wichita, Kansas, the thunderstorms will there's not a lot of difference between the 0 to 3 and 0 to 6 kilometer shear. The shear is pretty good at any rate. On Tuesday, out in Shreveport, Louisiana, actually Barksdale Air Force Base, the shear looks pretty good. 25 knots in the lower levels, and 40 knots in the lower to mid levels. Atlanta, Georgia will be the next area we'll be watching for the thunderstorms. It's still uncertain right now as to what's going to happen, but one thing is for sure, the shear is looking pretty weak. Not only will the low and mid-level dynamics support this severe weather outbreak, the upper level dynamics at the jet stream level will support it as well. These here are 300 millibar charts with the winds and heights, about 9 kilometers, about the altitude where planes fly, maybe a little low around that altitude. And first on Monday, the jet streak, which is an area of faster winds in the jet stream, will come into the four corners, and maybe some of the energy will allow thunderstorms to produce very damaging extreme winds and extreme hail, 75 miles per hour and 2 inches thick, respectively. There are two things interesting about Tuesday's forecast. Number one, the jet streak will be over Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas, which is where the bigger severe weather, which is where the severe thunderstorms are most likely and the tornadoes are coming in. But there's a closed low at 300 millibars, which is very rare. And on Wednesday, there's not a lot of dynamics to support severe weather, but there is some spreading of the air at the upper levels, which allows for rising motions at the throughout columns of air. So it's going to be big, folks. Bottom line, it's going to be big. It's going to be a huge severe weather event, especially on Tuesday, and a little bit on Wednesday, and maybe even Thursday or Friday. One thing you need to be sure that you have is your disaster kit. It needs to be ready to go. Here are the items that you shouldn't have. There's a few more, but here are the main items that you should have in the kit. Now, I'm sure many of you know what the proper shelter is: a storm cellar, a basement, or something on the first floor hallway. And if you're caught outside, be sure you go to a low-lying ditch. You must get out of a mobile home if you're tornado warned, and do not outrun a tornado or use an overpass if you're in your car. Thank you for joining me. I'm student meteorologist Jaron Breen. Once again, please be prepared for this event. Images are courtesy of the Storm Protection Center, the WSI Vortex Model Lab, and TrustedData.com. Resources are available on ready.gov and NOAA.gov. And please, on the days of the severe weather, please stay tuned to NOAA Weather Radio or local media. Have a great weekend, and please be prepared for this event.